They forced the humanity to leave. We warned them. Now they face the repercussions. Humanity had always looked to the stars. For centuries, people dreamed of traveling beyond their small blue planet, and over time those dreams became reality. Ships carrying men, women, and families traveled to distant systems, spreading the influence of humans quietly but steadily. Most species in the galaxy noticed them but did not pay much attention. Humans were considered curious, clever, and sometimes reckless, but nothing that could threaten a well-established empire. The Norian cluster was a group of star systems at the edge of a larger galactic alliance. Humans had arrived there decades ago, initially to mine minerals and study planets. Over time, they built settlements, small cities that floated above planetary surfaces or were tucked into valleys and plains. They planted gardens, built schools, and created trade networks. Humans worked hard, fought little, and tried to avoid problems with the native species. Despite this, the ruling council of the Norian coalition grew uneasy. The aliens who led the council had their own ideas about power. They measured strength in fleets, armies, and obedience. Humanity, with its quiet expansion, did not fit into their system. To them, humans were unpredictable. Their willingness to experiment, to build technology at an astonishing pace, and to explore without asking permission made the council nervous. Commander Elias Ford was one of the few humans the aliens trusted. He had spent years traveling among the coalition worlds as a diplomat and military officer. He knew their rules and respected their customs, but he also understood human nature. Humans were not simple. They adapted, survived, and often turned challenges into opportunities that no one else could imagine. One morning, on the largest human settlement in the cluster, the city of New Aurora, a message arrived that would change everything. The aliens had sent a fleet to the system, their warships forming a solid wall in orbit above the planet. Their leaders demanded that all humans leave immediately. The reason given was vague. The council considered human presence unnecessary and dangerous. Claire Bennett, the human diplomat in charge of negotiations, read the alien communique with growing concern. She looked up at Elias, who stood beside her, arms crossed, his expression serious. "They're serious," Claire said. "They don't want to negotiate. They want us gone." Elias nodded slowly. "I feared this day might come. They see us as a threat because we don't follow their rules. They cannot understand that humans grow stronger when challenged." Claire's hands tightened around the message. "We've built homes here. Families, schools, trade routes. They can't just take it away." "They think they can," Elias replied, "and they might succeed unless we act carefully." The humans held emergency meetings. The leaders of each settlement gathered in New Aurora's central hall. Among them were engineers, scientists, teachers, and military advisors. Captain Samuel Price, head of the local defense fleet, stood tall and calm, although inside he felt a storm of anger. Humans were capable of great patience, but they had limits. "Evacuation is our only option," Samuel said. "We cannot fight their entire fleet head-on. Not yet, but we can leave in an organized way. We can save our people and our technology. We can survive this." Some in the room shook their heads. "Survive? They think we are weak." "Do we just run?" asked Marcus Lee, a young engineer who had spent years building habitats on the outer planets. Elias raised a hand. "Running is not weakness. Survival is strategy. They think they are removing a threat. What they do not understand is that humans always find a way to grow stronger, even in exile." For weeks, humans worked tirelessly to prepare. Ships were repaired, cargo loaded with food, water, medicine, and vital research. Families packed what they could carry. Children asked questions they could not fully understand, but adults kept their fear quiet. The human spirit had always been resilient, and now it shone brightest when threatened. During this time, Claire traveled to the alien fleet to try to negotiate one last time. She boarded a small diplomatic ship, its hull sleek but unarmed, and approached the massive warships waiting in orbit. The Council's representative, a tall, pale alien named Vorak, met her on the bridge of the largest vessel. "You must leave immediately," Vorak said. His voice was calm but sharp. "Your presence here is no longer tolerated. Humanity is too unpredictable. You are a danger to the balance of power." Claire stood her ground. "We have lived peacefully here for decades. We trade, we explore, we build. We have harmed no one." "Please, there must be another way." Vorak's eyes, black and unblinking, scanned her face. "Another way? You misunderstand. The Council does not negotiate with threats. You have been warned. Departure is mandatory." Claire returned to New Aurora with no resolution. The Council's decision was final. Elias and the other leaders called the people together. Over the loudspeakers in every settlement, the same message was broadcast. Humans must leave immediately or face destruction. People reacted in many ways. Some cried openly, holding onto memories of homes they would leave behind. Others worked silently, helping neighbors pack and load their ships. A few young men and women, unable to hide their anger, wanted to fight. But the elders reminded them, survival first. Humanity had survived far worse. This was another challenge, one that required patience, not rash action. As evacuation day approached, the human fleet gathered at designated spaceports. Ships of every size were ready. Small personal vessels for families, large freighters carrying equipment, and military transports capable of defending convoys. Captain Samuel Price oversaw the departure, coordinating every movement with precision. Elias walked among the people, offering words of encouragement. "We leave today, but we do not vanish," he told them. "We leave with our knowledge, our spirit, and our determination. One day, the galaxy will understand that humans cannot be underestimated." Children clutched their parents' hands as the first ships lifted off the planet. Families waved to neighbors left behind, promising to meet again. The sky was filled with thousands of vessels, glowing as they passed through the atmosphere. New Aurora, once vibrant and bustling, slowly emptied. On the bridge of one of the lead ships, Claire Bennett watched the planet shrink into the distance. Her eyes were heavy with tears, but her heart remained strong. "We will return," she whispered. "They will see what humans are capable of." Elias stood beside her, arms crossed as always, his face unreadable. "They will," he said quietly, "and it will be their mistake to underestimate us. Humans are not easily destroyed. We adapt, we survive, and we grow stronger when challenged. This is not the end. It is the beginning of something they cannot imagine." Meanwhile, the alien council watched from their ships in orbit, confident that humanity was gone for good. They celebrated their victory quietly, unaware that the seeds of future strength were already being planted. Humans, forced to leave their homes, were already thinking of new ways to thrive. Every ship carried not only people but also knowledge, technology, and the will to survive. In the void of space, humanity's fleet spread out like a swarm of stars. Each vessel carried families, workers, and thinkers, but most importantly, each carried hope. They were leaving behind their homes, but they were not leaving behind who they were. Humanity was clever, resourceful, and resilient. They could adapt to any environment, build anything they needed, and find opportunities in challenges that would defeat others. Weeks passed as the human fleet moved farther from the Norian cluster. Along the way, they encountered dangers, asteroid fields, radiation storms, and the cold emptiness of space, but nothing broke their resolve. Elias, Claire, and Samuel worked tirelessly to maintain morale, reminding people of their strength and their purpose. At night, the younger humans gathered in observation decks, staring at distant stars. They told stories of Earth, of the worlds they had left, and of the humans who would one day return. Even in fear, there was pride. Humans had survived crises before, and this would be no different. One evening, Claire spoke to a group of children gathered around her. "Do you know why we leave without fighting?" she asked. The children shook their heads. "Because running is not weakness, it is preparation. We will grow stronger. One day the galaxy will know that humans cannot be controlled, cannot be forced, and cannot be ignored." Elias overheard her words and smiled faintly. He knew she was right. The council believed they had removed a threat, but humans were never predictable. They learned, they adapted, and they fought back in ways that no one could foresee. As the fleet continued its journey, Elias and Claire planned for the future. They would find a safe place for humanity to rebuild, a place where they could grow without interference. They would continue to advance their technology, strengthen their people, and prepare for the day when they could return, not just to the Norian cluster, but to the galaxy as a whole. The aliens believed that humanity had vanished. They did not see the glimmering lights of thousands of ships stretching across the darkness of space, carrying the hearts and minds of millions. They did not understand that forcing humans to leave had planted the seeds of a power they could never control. Elias stood on the bridge watching the stars pass by. "We are leaving," he said softly, "but we are not gone. One day they will regret this." And far away, the first ships of humanity drifted toward the unknown, carrying with them the promise of survival, the determination to thrive, and the spark of something far greater than anyone could imagine. Humanity had been forced to leave, but they were already preparing the day when they would return stronger than ever. The human fleet drifted through deep space, far beyond the systems they once called home. The stars around them seemed endless, and the darkness was thick, but humans were never afraid of the unknown. Every person on every ship carried with them a piece of their world, memories of home, lessons from the past, and the determination to survive. Captain Samuel Price walked along the corridors of the flagship, checking systems, speaking with engineers, and listening to the concerns of families. He knew that morale was fragile. People had lost their homes, their jobs, and their friends. Some had never experienced danger beyond simple warnings, and now they were faced with the vast emptiness of space. But Samuel also knew the truth. Humans were resilient. They thrived on challenges and turned hardship into strength. Every setback was an opportunity, and every danger was a lesson. "Captain," called Marcus Lee, the young engineer, "we have a problem with the main engines on cargo ship 17. The power coupling is unstable, and if it fails, we could lose the entire section." Samuel nodded. "How long to repair?" 3 days, maybe less if we push the systems." "Do it," Samuel replied firmly. "Every ship matters, every life matters." Marcus ran off, energized by the trust Samuel placed in him. On the bridge, Samuel joined Elias Ford and Claire Bennett. They watched the stars slip by. "We need a plan," Claire said. "We cannot just drift forever. Eventually, the aliens will realize we survived and begin to pursue us." Elias nodded slowly. "We need a place to settle, somewhere no one expects us. Somewhere we can rebuild without interference. And we need time, time to grow stronger." Samuel frowned. "Time is something we don't have much of. Our supplies will last, but only if we ration carefully. We need to move fast." Elias' eyes were calm but hard. "Then we move fast. But carefully. Humans are not just running away. We are adapting. Every ship is a city, every person is a worker, and every challenge we face is a chance to grow. We will survive, and when the time comes, we will be ready." In the weeks that followed, the human fleet spread out slightly, finding smaller systems with habitable planets. Some were barren, with little water or atmosphere, but they were enough to set up temporary bases. Engineers like Marcus worked tirelessly to convert cargo ships into living spaces. Scientists studied the planets, seeking resources, fertile ground, and energy sources. Families built small communities, teaching their children and preparing for a future that seemed uncertain, yet full of hope. On a distant planet with a thin, rocky atmosphere, humans landed for the first time since leaving the Norian cluster. The planet was cold, with high cliffs and dry valleys. Water was scarce, and the ground was difficult to work, but humans were nothing if not resourceful. Engineers dug into the cliffs to build shelters. Scientists created greenhouses to grow food using recycled water. Children played in the valleys, climbing rocks and learning lessons about survival that no classroom could teach. Lily Grant, one of the top engineers, supervised the construction of power generators that could run indefinitely. She worked with a team of mechanics and engineers, turning abandoned mining equipment into a functioning energy grid. "If we can make this work here," she said to her team, "we can make it work anywhere. No planet is too harsh for humans." In the meantime, Elias and Claire worked to organize the fleet. They established communication networks between the scattered ships and planets, ensuring that every settlement had access to information, supplies, and emergency plans. They also began teaching basic defense strategies. While they could not face the alien fleets directly yet, humans needed to learn how to protect themselves from any threat. Samuel oversaw a small fleet of defensive ships. They were armed with basic energy weapons, nothing compared to the Norian warships, but enough to train humans in tactics, coordination, and rapid response. Humans practiced constantly, running simulations and drills that tested both skill and courage. Every person, even those who never held a weapon before, learned the importance of preparation and teamwork. As months passed, humans began to innovate. They had been forced to leave their colonies, but exile had given them freedom. They no longer had to follow alien rules or wait for approvals from distant councils. Scientists and engineers experimented freely. They built ships that were faster and more efficient. They tested new energy sources. They designed weapons that could fire across space in ways the galaxy had never seen. One day, in the research lab aboard the flagship, Lily and her team made a breakthrough. They discovered a way to amplify energy beams over vast distances, making them capable of destroying targets before they could react. Marcus Lee was the first to see the prototype fire. "It works," he said, eyes wide. "It actually works." Elias smiled faintly. "They will never see it coming." Claire, standing nearby, nodded. "This is why they feared us in the first place. Humans do not stop when threatened. We adapt, we innovate, and we survive." Meanwhile, on one of the smaller planets, families worked together to make life sustainable. Crops grew in greenhouses, water was carefully recycled, and children learned both mathematics and survival skills. Every human, from the youngest child to the oldest elder, contributed in some way. The fleet was no longer just a group of ships, it was a mobile civilization. At night, people gathered to look at the stars. They shared stories of Earth, of the colonies they had lost, and of the dreams they still carried. They remembered New Aurora, and while there was sadness, there was also pride. Humans had survived the impossible. They had left behind homes, but they carried with them everything that made them human: courage, intelligence, and the will to thrive. One evening, Samuel Price gathered the fleet leaders in a small meeting. "We are far from home," he said, "but we are not lost. Every day we survive, every challenge we overcome makes us stronger. The aliens who forced us to leave believe they have won, but they have made a mistake. Humans do not surrender. We prepare, we grow, and one day we will return." Elias added, "It is not just about returning. It is about showing the galaxy that humans cannot be controlled. We will not be underestimated again. This exile is our chance to become stronger than anyone believes possible." Even the children understood this in their own way. They trained, learned, and played with an awareness that life in space was not easy. They were growing up fast, but they were learning to be clever, resourceful, and resilient, exactly what humanity needed to survive. As the fleet moved farther into uncharted space, they began to encounter strange phenomena. Asteroids that shifted unpredictably, Storms of radiation and planets with unusual atmospheres tested their knowledge and their skills. But humans did not panic. They studied, learned, and adapted. Every new challenge made them stronger. Every setback was a lesson. On one particularly cold and rocky planet, a group of engineers discovered a type of mineral that could store enormous amounts of energy. Marcus Lee led the effort to extract it, carefully building equipment that could operate in the harsh environment. "This could change everything," he said. "We could power entire cities with this and maybe even our new weapons." Lily Grant nodded. "Exactly. We are no longer limited by what we had before. Every challenge gives us a chance to improve, to invent, to become stronger. This is the advantage of being human." As months turned into a year, the human fleet became a network of settlements and ships connected by advanced communication systems. Humans learned to travel between planets quickly, to share resources efficiently, and to defend themselves if necessary. They were no longer just refugees. They were pioneers, explorers, and innovators. Claire Bennett kept diplomatic communications open, even though there were no other species they could trust completely. She hoped to build alliances, but she also knew that humans could not wait for permission from anyone. They had to rely on themselves. At the same time, Elias Ford and Samuel Price began secretly training elite teams of humans in tactics, strategy, and advanced technology. These teams were designed to respond quickly to any threat. They were small, fast, and intelligent. They learned to anticipate problems before they arose and to work as one unit. The aliens who had forced humans to leave had assumed that time was on their side. They believed humanity would weaken in exile, but the opposite was happening. Every day, humans were becoming stronger, smarter, and more prepared. They were not only surviving, they were evolving into something the galaxy had never truly seen before. At night on the observation deck of the flagship, Claire looked at the stars and smiled faintly. "They think they have removed us," she said softly to Elias. "They have no idea," Elias replied. "We are learning, we are growing, and when the time comes, we will return. Not just to take back what is ours, but to show the galaxy what humans are capable of." In the silence of space, the human fleet moved steadily forward. Each ship carried hope, each planet settlement carried knowledge, and each person carried determination. They were no longer just survivors. They were a force preparing for the day when they would no longer be ignored. The galaxy might have thought humanity weak, that exile would destroy them. But humans had a secret power. They never gave up, they never stopped learning, and they never stopped growing stronger. And somewhere in the endless dark, the first sparks of humanity's return were already burning bright. The humans had been in deep space for years. Their fleet had grown stronger, their settlements had become more organized, and their people had learned skills no alien could imagine. Every ship carried knowledge, every settlement was prepared, and every human understood that survival was more than living. It was learning, adapting, and growing stronger with every challenge. Captain Samuel Price stood on the bridge of the flagship, staring at a cluster of stars in the distance. It was a location familiar to them, the edge of the Norian cluster, near the systems humans had once called home. Samuel did not speak, but his mind was alive with plans. Elias Ford walked beside him, calm as always, yet his eyes were sharp. "They are gathering their fleets," Elias said quietly. "They think we are weak. They think our exile has destroyed us, but they are wrong. They have no idea what we have become." Claire Bennett joined them, her gaze steady. "We have been patient for years. We have grown stronger, faster, smarter. Today, we remind them why humans cannot be underestimated." The alien coalition had indeed begun to notice humanity's survival. Scouts reported strange energy signals from deep space, and missing ships from their outer patrols confirmed it. Humans were not destroyed, and they were building something new. The coalition grew uneasy, but pride kept them from acting. They assumed humanity was still disorganized and weak. Samuel turned to the tactical officers. Prepare the fleet. Position ships in the asteroid field near the cluster's edge. We will not attack openly. We will strike where they cannot see us coming. The officers nodded. Humans had learned the art of stealth, surprise, and coordination. Even their small vessels could move quickly, communicate silently, and strike with precision. For years, they had trained for this moment. Elias briefed the pilots and elite crews. We do not fight like other species. We do not charge blindly into battle. We use intelligence, speed, and coordination. Our weapons are advanced. Our minds are sharper. Remember this, the aliens underestimate humans at their own peril. The fleet moved into position, hidden among large asteroids that dotted the edge of the cluster. From here, they could observe the alien fleets without being detected. The aliens were preparing to reclaim human colonies, believing them abandoned. Their confidence was absolute, their arrogance complete. Samuel watched the displays. Their main fleet is larger than we expected, he said. But size alone is not victory. Humans are faster. Humans are clever. We can outmaneuver them. Lily Grant, overseeing the energy weapons teams, nodded. The new beam cannons are ready. They can hit multiple targets at extreme range. They have no idea we have this. Marcus Lee, younger and eager, added, we've tested them against asteroid cores. They can destroy anything that moves in seconds. This will be the first time anyone sees them in action. Elias smiled faintly. Then let them see it. Let them learn what happens when they underestimate humans. The humans waited, silent and tense. Hours passed, then days. Scouts reported the alien fleet preparing to enter the outer human colonies, still confident in their control. Finally, the moment arrived. Samuel gave the order. Fire! From hidden positions, human ships launched energy beams in perfect coordination. The first wave struck alien patrol ships, destroying them before they could signal for help. The explosions were massive, and alien crews barely had time to react. Shock spread across the alien fleet. "They are attacking," shouted one alien officer. "How is this possible?" The humans struck again and again, using asteroids for cover, moving unpredictably and coordinating with precision that no alien system could anticipate. Ships that had once been considered defenseless were now deadly. Human strategy combined with advanced weapons and fast maneuvers made them unstoppable. On the flagship, Samuel watched the displays with calm intensity. "Target their command ships next," he ordered. "We take their leaders out first. The rest will fall into chaos." The energy beam struck the alien command vessels, cutting through shields and destroying communication arrays. Panic spread through the alien fleet. Without guidance, their larger ships collided, misfired, and fled in disorder. Elias turned to Claire. "Do you see that? This is what humans do best. We think, we plan, we strike where others cannot defend. This is the strength they refused to believe we had." Claire nodded. "And now they know." Even from the smaller observation decks, children and families watched the battle unfold on live feeds. They had learned that humans were more than survivors. They were innovators, warriors, and protectors. Pride swelled in their hearts. Humanity had taken what was forced upon them and turned it into an advantage. On one of the alien warships, Vorak, the council representative, screamed orders. "All ships regroup, fire at the humans, do not let them escape." But it was too late. The human fleet had anticipated their moves. Every attack was countered. Every advance met with superior tactics. Alien ships were destroyed or forced to retreat. For the first time, the coalition realized that humans were not to be underestimated. Marcus Lee and his team fired beam after beam at alien ships, laughing with exhilaration. "They never saw this coming," he shouted. Lily Grant smiled. "Good. Let them learn what happens when you push humans too far." The battle continued for hours. The humans were precise, disciplined, and unstoppable. Every move had been practiced. every contingency planned. Aliens fled in confusion, their pride shattered. Colonies once considered abandoned were safe once more, defended by humans who had waited and grown stronger in secret. On the flagship, Samuel looked at Elias. "They will never forget this," he said quietly. "No," Elias replied, "and they will tell every corner of the galaxy." This is the lesson humans teach. Do not underestimate them, do not force them out, and never assume exile makes them weak. Claire broadcasted a message to the alien coalition using their communication channels. "You forced us to leave. You ignored our warnings. Now you see the cost of arrogance. Humanity does not surrender. Humanity does not falter. Humanity survives, adapts, and grows stronger. Remember this lesson well." The alien council, listening from their main system, was stunned. Their fleets were shattered, their pride wounded, and their belief in human weakness destroyed. For centuries, no species had dared to strike the Norian cluster so boldly, and none had done so with such intelligence, coordination, and sheer determination. Back on the planets, humans cheered, families embraced, children clapped. Even the elderly, who had seen generations come and go, felt a new pride. Humanity had faced the impossible and triumphed, not through sheer numbers but through cleverness, courage, and unity. Elias, Samuel, and Claire gathered once more on the bridge of the flagship. "This is only the beginning," Elias said. "They have seen what we can do, but we are far from finished. Our fleet, our people, our technology, everything we have learned in exile is now ready. And when the time comes, we will take what is ours, not just for survival but to show the galaxy what humans are capable of." Samuel nodded. "The next step is to secure the colonies and protect our people. Then we continue to grow. We cannot stop now. The galaxy must understand that humans are not a species to be forced, ignored, or underestimated." Claire looked at the stars, thinking of the children, the families, the engineers, the scientists, and the warriors who had made this victory possible. "They think exile was their victory," she said softly, "but it was the start of our rise. The humans had struck with precision, cunning, and power. They had shown the galaxy that even after being forced from their homes, they could not be defeated. The alien coalition had learned a lesson in fear, humility, and respect, but humanity had learned even more. They had learned that they could survive anything, and that exile was only fuel for growth. In the aftermath of the battle, human engineers repaired minor damages, scientists studied alien technology captured during the fight, and families returned to their settlements. Even in the victory, humans worked. Survival was never passive. Growth was constant. And every day brought new opportunities to strengthen themselves further. The galaxy would remember this day, not as a defeat for humans, but as a warning to all species. Humans do not surrender. Humans adapt. Humans survive. And when the time comes, they strike with power no one expects. Samuel Price looked out at the stars once more, feeling the weight of the moment. "They have seen our strength, but they have not yet seen the full extent of what humans can do." Elias placed a hand on his shoulder. "They will, and when they do, it will be the reckoning they brought upon themselves. Humans do not forget, humans do not forgive, and humans never give up." Claire smiled faintly. "The galaxy has been warned, and now we prepare for the next step." In the darkness of space, the human fleet glimmered like a web of stars. They had struck first, with intelligence, courage, and precision. They had survived exile, and now they had proven themselves to the galaxy. Humanity was no longer to be underestimated. The alien fleets, scattered and broken, would think twice before underestimating humans again. But humans knew this was only the beginning. They had learned, adapted, and grown stronger. And the galaxy had yet to see the full power of a species that refused to be controlled, refused to be defeated, and refused to be ignored. The first strike had been devastating, but for humans, it was not revenge. It was proof of their potential. They were stronger, faster, and smarter than anyone believed, and they would continue to grow until no one could challenge them without paying the price. Exile had forced them to leave their homes, but it had also forged them into something more. Humanity was no longer a quiet species in the background of the galaxy. They were a force to be reckoned with, and the galaxy had only begun to understand that truth. The humans had won their first battle. The alien fleets had been shattered, their command vessels destroyed, and their arrogance exposed. But humanity did not celebrate for long. The galaxy was vast, and the Norian coalition still controlled countless systems. There were still colonies to reclaim, fleets to watch, and a council that had underestimated them once and would do so again if given the chance. Captain Samuel Price stood on the bridge of the flagship, looking at the coordinates of the abandoned human colonies. Each planet was a reminder of what they had lost, but also of what they could regain. "We cannot waste time," he said. "The aliens will regroup. They will try again. We need to secure these worlds before they interfere." Elias Ford nodded. "They will be cautious now. But caution is our ally. We move carefully, strike quickly, and remind them that humans do not surrender." Claire Bennett stood beside them. "We also need to send a message, not just through battles but through diplomacy. They need to understand that humanity cannot be ignored. We survive, we grow, and we adapt." The fleet moved swiftly. Using advanced navigation techniques, humans traveled between the abandoned colonies faster than any alien fleet could expect. They repaired damaged cities, restored energy grids, and rebuilt infrastructure. Engineers like Marcus Lee worked day and night, ensuring that every settlement could function independently. Lily Grant oversaw weapons systems and defensive networks, making sure each planet could resist future attacks. On one colony, a group of humans had arrived just as alien scouts approached. The scouts were shocked to see humans already occupying the settlement, fully prepared. Samuel Price's fleet emerged from hidden positions, using tactics learned during exile. Within hours, the alien scouts were neutralized and the colony was secured. Elias walked among the people, observing their work. Children played safely under the watch of trained adults, farmers worked the land, and engineers repaired old machinery. "This is what humans do," he said softly. "We reclaim, we rebuild, and we protect our own. The galaxy must learn that humanity is not to be underestimated." Claire organized communications with nearby systems. "We send a warning," she said. "Not a threat, but a clear message. Humans are returning and we are stronger than ever." The broadcast reached the Alien Council. Vorak, still reeling from the previous defeat, listened in disbelief. "They are reclaiming their colonies," he said. "How is this possible? They should have been destroyed, they should have fled." Another council member, cold and calculating, shook his head. "They are clever. They have grown stronger in exile. We did not remove them. We created a threat we cannot control." Meanwhile, humans continued to expand their network. They built supply lines, repair stations, and training centers on reclaimed planets. Families moved back into homes, schools reopened, and the workforce was organized to maximize efficiency. Even the youngest humans were taught survival skills, engineering basics, and the importance of cooperation. On a distant planet, Samuel and Elias trained a new generation of human pilots and commanders. "Every lesson we learned in exile is now part of us," Samuel told them. "We strike first when needed, we adapt to new challenges, and we never underestimate our enemy." Elias added, "The aliens thought exile would weaken us. Instead, it made us stronger, smarter, and faster. Never forget this lesson. Humanity survives because we think, we act, and we work together." Claire traveled between colonies, ensuring that everyone understood the new strategies. "We are no longer refugees," she told the people. "We are a civilization that moves as one. Every settlement, every ship, every person contributes. This is how we survive and how we win." As humans rebuilt, alien fleets attempted to respond. They sent reinforcements to challenge the reclaimed colonies, but the humans were ready. Advanced sensors, improved weapons, and well-trained crews allowed them to anticipate attacks. Every ambush by the aliens failed. Every assault was countered. The aliens began to understand that humanity was not only back, they were a force no one could ignore. On the flagship, Samuel Price reviewed reports from the front lines. Every colony is secure. Every attack has been neutralized. They cannot stop us. Not now, not ever, he said firmly. Elias nodded, and they will tell the galaxy about it. Every system they control, every species they influence, will learn what happens when humans are underestimated. Meanwhile, the alien council struggled to respond. Vorak and his colleagues debated furiously. "We must negotiate," Vorak said. "We cannot defeat them outright. They are too strong, too organized." Another council member sneered. "Negotiate? They are humans. They strike, they adapt, and they survive. We have created a monster by forcing them out. Now we pay the price." Back on a human colony, Marcus Lee supervised the installation of new energy grids and weapons platforms. "The aliens will try to return," he said. "But we are ready. Every system we reclaim is a fortress. Every fleet we build is faster and stronger. They cannot beat us." Lily Grant agreed. "We have learned from exile. We know how to survive, and we know how to strike first when necessary. This is what makes humans dangerous. Not numbers, not size, but intelligence, adaptability, and courage." Samuel walked among the people, watching them work. Farmers, engineers, teachers, and children all contributed. "Look at this," he said. "Every human here understands that survival is a team effort. This is why we are stronger than anyone believed. The council forced us to leave, but they did not destroy our spirit." Elias joined him. "The galaxy will remember this. They will remember that humans survive, adapt, and grow stronger. They will remember that exile was a mistake, not a victory." Claire oversaw communications with other species in nearby systems. "Some are curious," she said. "They see humans as clever, resourceful, and powerful. They are beginning to respect us. Some may even join us or support us in the future. But we must be cautious. Not all are friendly." As humans continued to reclaim colonies, they also advanced their technology. New ships were faster, stronger, and equipped with energy weapons that could destroy enemy fleets in seconds. Defense systems were automated, making colonies nearly impenetrable. Even the youngest engineers were taught these new systems, ensuring that knowledge would continue to grow with each generation. One evening, Samuel, Elias, and Claire gathered on the flagship's observation deck, looking at the reclaimed colonies from orbit. "We have done what many thought impossible," Samuel said. "We took back what was ours and we prepared for the future, but this is only the beginning." Elias nodded. "The council will learn through pain. They forced humanity to leave, ignored our warnings, and assumed we were weak. Now they see the consequences of their arrogance." Claire added, "We must continue to rebuild, to strengthen our people, and to ensure that every human knows the value of cooperation, courage, and adaptability. Only then will the galaxy truly respect us." On the planets below, humans worked tirelessly. Engineers repaired damaged structures, farmers planted new crops, and children learned both academics and survival skills. Every human contributed, understanding that their strength came from unity and intelligence, not just weapons. Meanwhile, the alien council watched from a distance, frustrated and alarmed. Every report from their scouts confirmed that humans were stronger than ever. Colonies that had once been abandoned were now fortified and productive. Fleets were faster, smarter, and more dangerous. The council realized that their attempt to control or remove humanity had failed completely. Vorak shouted at his advisors, "We underestimated them. We thought exile would weaken them, but we were wrong. Humanity is stronger than we imagined. Every day we wait, they grow stronger. We must rethink everything. Another council member frowned. They have learned from exile. They have grown in ways we cannot match. We forced them out, and now we face a civilization ready to strike, to reclaim, and to dominate. Back on a human colony, Marcus Lee and Lily Grant worked together to finish a new weapon system capable of striking multiple targets across light years. "This is the next step," Marcus said. "If they try to challenge us again, they will not succeed." Lily nodded. "We have learned from exile, we have grown stronger, we have reclaimed what is ours, and we are ready for anything." Samuel Price continued to organize fleets for defense and future operations. "Every colony must be ready," he said. "Every fleet must be ready. Humans will no longer be pushed aside or forced to leave. We survive, we thrive, and the galaxy will remember it." Elias Ford walked among the people, observing their work. "The council forced us to leave," he said softly. "They thought they had won. But they have only created a civilization stronger than ever before. Humanity survives because we adapt, we cooperate, and we never give up. The galaxy will learn this lesson." Claire Bennett sent another message to the Alien Council. "You forced us from our homes. You ignored our warnings, and now you see the consequences. Humanity survives, adapts, and grows stronger. This is only the beginning, remember it." The humans had reclaimed their colonies. They had rebuilt their cities, strengthened their fleets, and advanced their technology. They had learned the lessons of exile and turned them into power. And the Alien Council, once confident in their control, now faced the consequences of underestimating humanity. The galaxy was beginning to understand a truth that could no longer be ignored. Humans were not weak. Humans were not easily controlled, and humans were capable of far more than anyone believed. Exile had forced humanity to leave, but it had also forged them into a force the galaxy had never seen before. The first strike had shown their power. The reclamation of colonies proved their resilience. And the coming years would reveal the full strength of a species that refused to be defeated. Humans were no longer just survivors. They were a civilization prepared for anything, united by courage, intelligence, and adaptability. And the Alien Council would learn, through pain and defeat, that humanity could not be ignored. Humans had come a long way. From being forced out of the Norian cluster, they had survived exile, grown stronger, and reclaimed what was theirs. But the galaxy was still full of threats, and the Alien Council that had expelled them had yet to learn the full price of underestimating humanity. Captain Samuel Price stood on the bridge of the flagship, gazing at the stars. The fleet was larger than ever, and the colonies were fully operational. Every settlement had its defenses, every fleet was ready, and every human knew their role. The time had come to deliver the final reckoning. Elias Ford joined him, calm as always. "They have seen our strength, but they have not yet understood it fully. Today, we remind them that humanity cannot be ignored and cannot be defeated." Claire Bennett nodded, her face serious. "The council believed they could exile us, scatter us, and erase our presence. They were wrong. Now we show them why humanity must be respected or feared." The human fleet moved toward the heart of the Norian cluster. Their ships glimmered in space like a network of stars, sleek, powerful, and coordinated. Every vessel was armed and ready, every crew trained to act as one. For the first time, humans were no longer hiding. They were returning in full force. Alien scouts detected the fleet, and panic rippled through the council. Vorak, the council representative, watched the screens in disbelief. "It cannot be," he said. "They should not have grown this fast. They are stronger than ever." Another council member shouted, "Send the fleets. Stop them before they reach the core systems." But it was too late. Humans had anticipated every move. They moved faster than the alien response fleets, striking supply lines, cutting off reinforcements, and reclaiming strategic systems along the way. Every action was precise, every strike calculated, and every alien fleet that tried to oppose them was destroyed or forced to retreat. On the flagship, Samuel gave orders. Prepare the energy cannons, target their main command hubs, disable their communication. We do not destroy everything, but we show them our power. Marcus Lee, in the weapons control room, grinned. They won't know what hit them. Every cannon is ready. Every strike will be perfect. Lily Grant monitored the systems. This is what we trained for. This is what exile taught us. Every challenge made us stronger, and now we strike with everything we've learned. Elias walked the bridge, observing the young pilots as they prepared. Remember, he said, humans do not strike blindly. We strike smart, fast, and with purpose. Today is the day the galaxy learns the truth about humanity. The human fleet entered the Norian core systems. The aliens scrambled their ships, trying to defend their planets and command centers. But humans were everywhere at once. Their fleet spread strategically, moving like lightning through space. The aliens had numbers, but humans had coordination, speed, and superior tactics. The first battle began near a major system. Alien ships tried to engage, but human energy beams struck first, cutting through shields and disabling key vessels. Within hours, the alien defense fleet was shattered. Command structures were paralyzed, and panic spread through the Council's networks. On the flagship, Samuel watched the reports. They are falling apart. Every attack we anticipated has worked. We move to the next system. Keep up the pressure. Elias nodded. This is what they never expected. Humans learn from every challenge. We adapt faster than any species they control. Today, we are unstoppable. Meanwhile, Claire broadcasted a message to the Alien Council and all allied systems. You forced us from our homes. You thought exile would weaken us. You were wrong. Humanity survives, adapts, and grows stronger. We reclaim what is ours, and we will not be denied. Remember this, underestimate humans at your own peril. Vorak, listening from the Council's headquarters, slammed his hand on the console. How can this be? They were exiled. They should have been destroyed. And now, they control our systems. They strike faster than we can respond. The Council realized too late that forcing humans out had created a civilization far stronger than they had imagined. Every system humans reclaimed was fortified, every fleet trained, and every settlement defended. Exile had been their greatest mistake. On one of the reclaimed planets, humans built a new command center. Engineers like Marcus Lee and Lily Grant worked tirelessly to upgrade defenses and weapon systems. We have learned from every battle, Marcus said. Every attack the aliens made taught us something new. Now we are prepared for anything. Lily nodded. And we will continue to learn. Every colony, every ship, every person contributes. This is why humans cannot be defeated. Samuel Price led a strike team to disable the final alien command hubs. The ships moved in coordination, using asteroids and space anomalies for cover. Energy beams fired in perfect sequence, destroying critical systems and leaving alien fleets disorganized. Within hours, the Council's core networks were down. Elias watched as reports came in. They have no command. Their fleets are scattered. The galaxy has learned the cost of underestimating humanity. Claire sent another message, this time directly to the leaders of the Council. You forced us to leave. You ignored our warnings, and now you face the consequences. Humanity survives, thrives, and protects what is ours. This is the new order. Respect it or suffer further losses. The Alien Council, humbled and terrified, had no choice but to retreat. Their fleets were crippled, their colonies at risk, and their authority shaken. For the first time, they understood that humans were not just survivors. They were a force that could not be controlled. On the flagship, Samuel turned to Elias and Claire. It is done. The Council has no choice but to accept that humanity has returned stronger than ever. Elias nodded. This is only the beginning. We have reclaimed our colonies, rebuilt our fleets, and shown the galaxy what humans are capable of. But we must continue to grow. Exile taught us resilience, battle taught us strategy, and survival taught us unity. Claire looked at the stars, thinking of the children, families, engineers, scientists, and pilots who had made this victory possible. They thought forcing us out would destroy us. Instead, it created a civilization they could never hope to defeat. Humanity survives, adapts, and thrives, and the galaxy has learned its first lesson. Even the youngest humans understood the meaning of this victory. Children trained in engineering, strategy, and survival watched the battle reports. They learned that courage, intelligence, and cooperation could overcome any obstacle. Every human, from the eldest elder to the youngest child, was part of the civilization's strength. On one of the reclaimed planets, Marcus Lee oversaw construction of new energy grids and defense networks. The Council may rebuild their fleets, he said, but they will never forget today. Humanity is ready for anything. Lily Grant added, exile made us clever. Battle made us strong. Rebuilding makes us unstoppable. This is the power of humans. Samuel Price organized a final inspection of the fleet. Every ship, every crew, every weapon system was ready. We have survived exile. We have reclaimed our colonies. We have defeated their fleets and shattered their pride. Humanity will never be forced out again. Elias Ford looked at the galaxy beyond the observation window. The Council will spread the story of this day across every system. Humans are not to be underestimated. They learn, they adapt, they survive, and they strike with precision. And now the galaxy knows the truth. Claire Bennett prepared another message to send to the wider galaxy. To every species watching, humanity survives. Humanity adapts. Humanity protects what is ours. Underestimate us at your own risk. The aliens, scattered and defeated, had learned the consequences of their arrogance. Every fleet destroyed, every colony reclaimed, every weapon fired had left a clear message. Humans could not be controlled, could not be ignored, and could not be defeated. Back on the flagship, Samuel, Elias, and Claire stood together, looking at the stars. Exile taught us lessons, Samuel said. We have survived, adapted, and grown stronger. The galaxy has learned its lesson too. Elias nodded. And we will continue to grow. Humanity has proven it can survive anything, reclaim what is lost, and strike when necessary. The galaxy must respect humans now and always. Claire added, we were forced to leave. We were underestimated, but humanity has returned stronger than ever. This is only the beginning of what we can achieve. On the planets below, humans rebuilt their cities, advanced their technology, and strengthened their fleets. Every settlement was a symbol of human resilience. Every ship was a testament to intelligence and courage. And every person understood that survival was more than existing. It was growing stronger together and never backing down. The galaxy had seen humanity rise from exile, strike with precision, reclaim lost colonies, and defeat fleets that once believed themselves invincible. The Alien Council had learned, through pain and loss, that humans were a force to be reckoned with. Humanity had survived exile, adapted to every challenge, and returned stronger than ever. They had reclaimed what was theirs and sent a clear message to the galaxy. Do not underestimate humans. Do not force them from their homes. And never, ever think they can be defeated. The stars seemed to shine brighter that night, reflecting the determination of a species that had faced near extinction and emerged victorious. Humanity was no longer just a presence in the galaxy. They were a power, united, unstoppable, and ready for whatever challenges the universe could send. The Alien Council would remember this day forever. The galaxy would remember this day forever. And humanity, stronger than ever before, would continue to grow, adapt, and thrive. Exile had forged them. Battle had tested them. Survival had strengthened them. And now humanity ruled not through fear, but through respect earned in fire and courage, proving to the galaxy that nothing could stop them. Humanity had returned. Humanity had triumphed, and the galaxy would never forget the lesson: never underestimate humans.